Hello, I'm David Daler. In the letter Patris Corde, Pope Francis explores the many facets of St. Joseph's life and how it speaks to us today. Work, both secular and spiritual, is one of these many facets. In the social encyclical Rerum Novarum, written by Pope Leo XIII, we hear two very important statements about work. Work is personal, because it requires of each individual their own input in terms of intellect and energy in order to obtain its fruits. The input is given, the output received by the individual as a result of their efforts. And work is necessary. Because of it, people secure their daily living, preserve their lives, and provide for their families. The role of work must play a role in both our secular and our spiritual lives, and can be seen through the life of St. Joseph. St. Joseph is a model for us in many aspects of our lives. Considering the fact that we never hear his voice in biblical narratives, and yet he has so much to teach us by his actions. No greater example can be found of a dignified worker than Joseph of Nazareth. No prophet, no king, no poet. Joseph led the life of a simple working carpenter. His life and livelihood may have been simple, but there was nothing simple about his commitment to the value and importance of work and to service in living out his faith. How do we know this about Joseph when we hear so little about him? We know this because of his actions and response to God's call. Joseph was a carpenter who earned an honest living to provide for his family. The Holy Family's years in Nazareth are not documented in any of the Gospels, but we can surmise that as a child, Jesus would have spent long hours working with Joseph in the carpentry shop. It would have been in Joseph's workshop, in those hidden years in the childhood of Jesus, that Jesus would have learned the values required of a good carpenter and of the dignity of hard work. It's hard not to imagine that the skills Jesus learned as a child working alongside Joseph would have shaped his ministry. Jesus would have learned the value and dignity and joy of work through the actions of Joseph and seen in the events of the daily life in Nazareth. We too are called to instill in our families the importance, the dignity, and the necessity of work. Work was indeed both personal and necessary for Joseph. Jesus was as much a part of the work of human hands of Joseph as he was a part of the divine work of the Father. Through work, we have the opportunity to develop our talents and abilities, which we're then called to put into service of society and the greater good. Pope Francis reminds us in Patris Corde of the importance of work in the family and the need for all to be able to provide for their families by ensuring that everyone is able to earn a living wage. Work forms a part of the action of our lives. Patris Corde reminds us that working persons, whatever their job may be, are cooperating with God himself and in some way become creators of the world around us. At a time when this pandemic has redefined what we've come to know as a new normal in our working lives, we're given the opportunities to reflect on and consider the value and importance of work, both as a means to care for and secure stable lives for our families, but also to consider the ever-evolving role that the work of our lives has in advancing the kingdom of God, by ensuring that everyone experiences the dignity and joy of what it means to eat the bread that is the fruit of one's own labor. St. Joseph not only modeled the attributes of the working father, but he's the one to whom we can turn to express our firm conviction that no young person, no person at all, no family should be without work. St. Joseph shows us that words are not the only way to express our faith. Through our actions and work, God sees clearly what is in our hearts. Thank you.